listen, I'm not saying I'm tired and running on too little sleep. I am saying that it's 7:30 in the morning and I was still awake 4 hours ago. Hey, it's Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and this is upcoming Kickstarters for July. In fact, it is July. This video was supposed to be up yesterday, honestly, but some things. I've been getting lots of stuff done. Some of these videos have been a little bit behind on the schedule. So today, this is July right now, but we are going to be looking at upcoming Kickstarters for July, for the month of July. As usual, this is the list based on what we have so far. There are a bunch of things, not an absolute ton of things, but enough things to pique your interest a little bit, at least for now. And then more things, of course, that will be coming out and announced throughout the coming weeks, days, months. Well, months will be past July at that point. And with that, actually, the usual reminder to make sure you subscribe to Clutter. Clutter channel over there, Adam from Clutter does an amazing job. He's my main source for most of my Kickstarter roundups, for most of my Kickstarter news of what Kickstarters are updated, what have been pushed off, what new things are out there. Every single week, every single Sunday, he puts out a video, a Kickstarter roundup of just what's coming up. You know, the upcoming week in Kickstarter, all the stuff. And Kickstarter includes Gamefound, crowdfunding, all that stuff. But he goes through all that information. And whatever you see over here in this video, this is for the month of July, what we have so far. But a few things this misses, which is we miss things that tend to be on the smaller side. If something has like 20 people following it, I don't talk about it. And then also it misses all the general just updates of things that have changed across the course of the month, the campaigns that have changed, the campaigns that have been delayed, and the campaigns that we haven't been announced yet too either. So if you want a fully comprehensive information, make sure to subscribe to Adam or Clutter, who does this every single week. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into the campaign starting off the bat. And I'll have the specific dates down below if you want to see all the dates. I'm going in rough order of expectation. I'm not focusing on the dates in this video as I go through it, but there will be down below in the description. And starting off the bat with Flick Fleet Xeno Wars from Yuri Dice Games. Flick Fleet, this is going to be their first campaign over on Gamefound. I believe they had 2 campaigns to date. I think they've had at least one. 3 days to go, 3 days until this one launches over here. But Flick Fleet is a dexterity flicking game. You're going to be flicking your ships through the unknowns of space and then shooting missiles from your ships as you flick them around. It's basically flicking fun. That's what the whole point of the game is. Flick, have fun, knock ships out of battle, and do all that. Flick Fleet Xeno Wars is their newest entry into the line. It's a game that's been generally well received, generally well rated, and past that, that's Flick Fleet. This will be coming to Gamefound fairly shortly, in 3 days and all that. From there we have Mini Express Map Pack Expansion 1 and 2. This is the expansion to Mini Express, a Kickstarter from last year. The expansion being, I imagine, a Map Pack 1 and a Map Pack 2. It's just more maps for Mini Express. Mini Express is a bit of a train game, a bit of a stock-taking train game on the lighter side. Not a full 18x, not by any means, but a little bit of adjacency. I think more Chicago Express, but like different than Chicago Express in terms of the spot it's filling in the market. And then past that, it's a game that had decent ratings on Board Game Geek, decent ratings. Seem to be some complaints around the nature of passing to the left player or something. Something about the turn orders thing leads a few people to being a little upset with the game, but I am curious to see myself, because at some point I will dive into this one. But anyways, this is Mini Express from Amadeus Game Design. This can be launching, well, soon. I shouldn't say that for all the games. Amun-Re 20th Century Edition. This can be launching soon. Again, I believe this is going to be July 5th. I know I told you I wasn't going to tell you dates, but I just follow into it anyway. Amun-Re 20th Century Game 20th Anniversary Edition from Alley Cat Games, not 20th Century Games, as I mistakenly Freudian slipped over there. Reina Knizia has been going through a slow reprinting of a lot of his titles with a variety of companies, although currently it looks like 20th Century Games and Alley Cat Games are doing a bunch of those titles. The art's by Vincent Dutrait, which can be similar to the recent production of Ra that 20th Century Games did. So it seems like they're slowly being filtered out with art from Vincent Dutrait, but the games themselves being distributed to different companies to re-release. Either way, I'm here for it. I'm here to see what else comes out. I'm waiting for the inevitable Tigris and Euphrates re-release in some way, shape, or form. But Amun-Re is a classic bidding game. Again, a bidding game that I believe inspired the bidding mechanism that I love in Cyclades so much. The general idea of outbidding people on their tiles, but then moving to a new region where you have to outbid them there, and trying to balance when you want to win or lose the bidding as you slowly get, positioning in the game. That's basically how much I know about the game so far. I know some stuff about the game. I have the original, not the original. I have the second edition on my shelf. This has been through multiple editions. I have the second edition on my shelf. Need to sit down and table it at some point. It will happen, or I'll just get this one eventually and table this one. I really should not back this game until I table it. I really shouldn't back this game. We'll see. I am a sucker for new editions or games. It's not necessarily wise, it just is. Anyways, from there we have Royal Hospital. Royal Hospital. I don't have a lot of information on this game, but you know who does have information on this game? If you go ahead to Router Runs Through, Shay Parker, what's it called? Cover the game and Router Runs Through. He did a great job covering the game, and more importantly, he dropped the words that every person with the name Alex Radcliffe wants to hear. He dropped the name Terraforming Mars. This game seems to be Terraforming Mars Lite, although he also said that it's also not Terraforming Mars Lite, but it is Terraforming Mars Lite. It's Terraforming Mars adjacent is the word I'm going to go with here. You have cards, you have tableau building, you have upgrading things, you have a sequence of play. Great job, Alex. You have a sequence of play. Monopoly as a sequence of play for context. Anyways, Royal Hospital. You have a bunch of things that are potentially Terraforming Mars adjacent, while also standing out on its own, from the creators of Medieval Realms and the creator of Wishland. I am very intrigued by any game that is ever compared to Terraforming Mars, although to be fair, the last one that was, Ark Nova, didn't eclipse Terraforming Mars for me. It's good. I like Ark Nova, and it's eclipsing Terraforming Mars for like everyone else on the planet, but not for me. Not for me. I still prefer Terraforming Mars. Anyways, from there we have Moon. This is going to be launching over on Backakit. Wow, I'm glad, like, I didn't, you know what's interesting? Here's a fun one, okay? If you go to Adam at Shelfblood over here, he has coming to Kickstarter, and if you look at the thumbnail, it says, and Gamefound. On my end, I just generally stopped using Kickstarter on my thumbnails and started changing it to crowdfunding. You know who has it better right now? I have it better. Because crowdfunding includes Backakit. You know what this needs now? This needs to be coming to Kickstarter, and Gamefound, and Backakit, and Game on Tabletop, so we'll see what happens. But for those who don't know, this is Moon, and it's launching on Backakit. And if you're like, what's Backakit? Backakit is a pledge manager, and Backakit has announced that they are diving into the crowdfunding space. So if you want to actually launch things on a new platform, in addition to Kickstarter and Gamefound and Game on Tabletop, which isn't used a lot but theoretically exists, we also now have Backakit, which is heavily entering the space. We have 2 campaigns this week that are going to be this month that are launching on Backakit, possibly more, just 2 right now. We'll see. And in T-minus 10 days, we're going to have Moon, the 3rd game in Sinister Fish's series of small box game design thingamajiggy. I still need to play Streets. I played Villagers. I like it. Solid game. Don't need to keep it. I need to play Streets. I assume I'll like it. Solid game. Don't need to keep it, but I need to play it first. And Moon has a pick and pass base building game for 1 to 5 players. Pick and pass sounds like drafting. Is it drafting? Because if it's drafting, just say drafting. That will have me much more interested in already. We have 5,884 people signed up for this, which is a solid number. Backakit's really showing off here. We'll see. Anyways, that's going to be Moon launching on Backakit. Give me a second for coffee break. Coffee break is essential when you're not saying that you're not running on 4 hours of sleep, but maybe you're running on 4 hours of sleep. Anyways, Taverns Dragons. Taverns Dragons will be launching on Kickstarter as well shortly. This is coming over from Gamefound. This launched on Gamefound, got to around 30k, did fund, but then unfortunately had to cancel. We needed more, or they needed more. There's no we here. But anyways, Taverns Dragons, Lord Raccoon Games. They did the ship game, like pirates and ships and things, but I don't remember the name of it. But the art was gorgeous. Same with Taverns Dragons. Anyways, I didn't play the other game. I did play Taverns Dragons. Solid game, really enjoyable. A little bit of a rondel mechanism as you try to efficiently get all the things you need, convert them in, trade them in for stuff, do the things. It's a bunch of doing the things. But it's you can watch my review or Quacklope's gameplay or any of the other gameplay content. This game has been out. I don't know what changes there are to the price, the components, the contents, the anything. I have no idea what changes there are, if any. But it is launching over on Kickstarter. It's a solid game, worth paying attention to in my opinion, but that's going to be Taverns Dragons, dice placement and worker movement games along a rondel coming to Kickstarter. Then we have Leviathan Wilds for Moon Crab Games. Moon Crab Games, different company. Leviathan Wilds, a 1 to 4 player cooperative game. 1 to 4 player, interesting. On Board Game Geek it says 2 to 4 player, and I was confused by that because I've definitely played this game at 1 player. This is an upcoming Kickstarter prototype. In fact, it should be set up on my table right behind me so I can film my review on this one. But Leviathan Wilds is coming to Kickstarter, and it's a game of leviathans that are overgrown with these crystals that are deteriorating them and deforming them and getting and polluting them, and you're trying to climb these leviathans and slowly crush and crack and break these crystals to help free them from their entrapment. Think Shadow of Colossus or stuff like that. You're going to be climbing around there. You're going to have a hand management system, and it's all about managing your hand and not trying to die or trying not to die before you eventually run out of cards, economy, health, all those usual things in the game. Cooperative game, 1 to 4 players, just each Colossus being its own separate page, progressive iterative system as you level up and grow and build out your deck and spend the various points of things you've done along the way. That's going to be Leviathan Wilds coming to Kickstarter. Then we have Deluxe Hanafuda deck and the 100 Torii Diverging Pass. We have a Deluxe Hanafuda deck, which I have no idea what that is, unfortunately. And then we have an expansion for the 100 Torii, both coming from Eduardo Braff from Pencil First Games to Kickstarter shortly. I need multiple coffee breaks this video. Anyways, this is a game that 100 Torii is a game that I believe art is from Vincent Trait as well, but that's one of the few Pencil First games I have not yet tried, not yet played. I will eventually, I'm sure. I'll get to all this stuff. And Hanafuda Koi, I just don't know enough about what it is. Just got pretty art. I think it's a thing. I think it's a collaboration that Ito did also with Vincent Trait. and I don't know what the next step of that collaboration is. Whatever this is, I think it is. The art does look a little of Insane to Trade adjacent, while also seeming to be different in its own right. That's going to be coming to Kickstarter. And then we have Project Ironwood, a $399 Swedish design board game table. If true, that's ambitious. I'm curious to see what this is. This is coming to you from Dan Blacklock of Cloudpuncher Games. Cloudpuncher Games, who have done, I believe, 2 things, if I'm not mistaken. They both did Box Throne, if I'm not mistaken, and they also did the token Sesame Holder, I believe. And now they're diving into board game tables. Not board game tables, the company, but board game tables, the, like, noun, like a board game table. Is that a noun? Is that a verb? Is that... I guess it's a noun with an adjective, a board game table. I don't know English anymore. But either way, Project Ironwood. Project Ironwood is giving you $400 game tables, which again, if true, is insane. I am very curious to see how this plays out. I'm very curious. I mean, I don't care if they're compromising on the quality of the table, which they have to be to a degree. A $400 table, it's like, has to be compromising to a degree, but that's fine. Compromises are natural when you're taking a $2,000 product and making it $400. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. I'm not as worried about the compromise. I'm just worried if it's functional or not. But if you're looking for a cheap board game table, not $2,000, just $400, fully extendable, large play area, convertible topper, all those things. Keep in mind, convertible topper might cost you more money, but even so, $400 is a very competitive starting point. And then we have Star Realms. Star Realms, which I believe launching July 19th, if I'm not mistaken. Star Realms, and if you like Star Realms launching, it's Star Realms Legacy. Star Realms Legacy, Rise of an Empire is launching on Kickstarter, I believe Kickstarter. This is going to be bringing you a legacy version of Star Realms. If you like Star Realms, well, we have a legacy version of it. If you don't like Star Realms, we'll still have a legacy version of it. You just probably won't get it, unless you like Legacy enough that you'll get Star Realms despite that. Either way, the Star Realms Rise of an Empire, a legacy version of Star Realms. Again, it's been a very strong classic for a very long time now, and one that, if you want legacy on this, they're giving it to you. Then we have Pathfinder Revolution from Steve Jackson Games. This is basically the game Revolution, which is an older game from Steve Jackson Games. It's the game Revolution with the Pathfinder IP on top of it. So it looks like a collaboration between Steve Jackson and Paizo, bringing you Revolution with a Pathfinder theme. Revolution is a game that's a decently rated game, but not amazing. It's like a 6.7 or 6.8 or something like that. So it's in the realm of, you know, hey, it's worth paying attention to a bit depending on what you're looking for, but also like not, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I don't know if this gameplay changes or if this is a thematic overlay. Either way, if you're interested in that kind of thing, Pathfinder Revolution will be launching on Kickstarter this month. Then we have Moonrakers, the second Moon game today. Moonrakers Titan. Moonrakers Titan is going to be a big box for Moonrakers and 3 expansions for Moonrakers, which is very fun. I've played all 3 expansions. I love 2 of them. I'm okay with one of them. It's not bad. It's just, I don't know if it necessarily adds to me, but I have to play more. To be fair. I've only played a little bit with the expansions. I need to play more with the expansions. I'm sure I'll have coverage on these things soon enough. But Moonrakers, which is a game that I really enjoyed sometimes, and then I also didn't enjoy quite as much other times, depending on the game group and all that. The expansions were specifically created to address some of the gaps in the negatives some players had around the original game, negatives that I had depending on the people I was playing with, and I can tell you that from my play so far, the expansion solves those gaps. The expansions bring the Moonrakers right back to where it was, and then throws more stuff on top of it that makes it very, very compelling. A deck-building game of negotiation and cooperation and betrayal in space as you try to figure out how you can get to 10 prestige before any other player does. Moonrakers is really solid, and I really like the expansions. I'm more excited for their whole thing there. They have a digital thing on the side that they're doing. I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited. But we'll see. Anyways, Moonrakers Titan is coming from Ivy Studios, back on Kickstarter. Oh, this is back on Kickstarter. This is not in Gamefound. This is going to be back on Kickstarter, so we'll see how that one goes. This is Moonrakers, the game that brought Ivy Studios to light, and now back on Kickstarter. From there, we have a Board Game Geek page, if it loads. Board Game Geek page. Board Game Geek page of Burncycle. Why is it a Board Game Geek page and nothing else? Because I don't have any other page for you. But Burncycle is coming to Gamefound later this month. I believe July 19th, not certain. Burncycle is coming to Kickstarter later this month. Not Kickstarter, coming to Gamefound later this month with a reprint and new content expansion. New content stuff. I don't know what the new content is yet. Let's see if it's under the expansion of Board Game Geek. That'd be helpful. Is it? It is not under the new expansions yet. But Burncycle is Chip Theory Games, one of their latest games, or their latest big box game that they have. Solid game. Really enjoy this one. Although I've been playing Cloudspire a lot recently, and wow, Cloudspire is fun. I really like Cloudspire. It's very, whatever. We'll talk about Cloudspire another time. Not the point here. here. Burncycle is really, really solid. I highly recommend watching any number of other coverage from the game. There's lots and lots of coverage out there that is really solid. Also, check out Tim Chun's coverage on it as well, because Tim Chun was a little bit more medium in it, and I do believe in checking out the counter opinion. Check out the more medium coverage when there's a host of people who like it a lot. Check out the ones who don't as well and see why it didn't work for them. I totally, by the way, for the record, Tim, if you watch this, I totally understand and agree with every single point you made in your video about Burncycle. Also, none of them bothered me. But I completely, like, I watched your video and I was like, yeah, that seems fair. That seems fair. So yeah, reasonable points. But anyways, I love Burncycle. Immaterial here. I'm getting on a tangent here. Point is, if you want more Burncycle, if you want their game, which is hard to get and sold out and all that stuff, it's coming back for a reprint campaign to Gamefound, and it's coming back with new content, which I will probably get, even though I totally don't need it. From there, we have coffee. Yeah. It's a good coffee too. Got the amaretto creamer. Amaretto creamer is one of my favorite creamers to put in coffee. Just a hint of, enough hint of nuts and sweetness and all that stuff combined in one. Makes for good coffee. Anyway, Silver Coin Age of Monster Hunter. Silver Coin Age of Monster Hunters are coming to Kickstarter July 19th. I know that because it says so on the page right next to me. This is a monster hunting experience. Think Witcher adjacent, but not The Witcher, just Witcher adjacent. Same style of general kind of thing. It's a competitive game. I believe there's cooperative and solo modes. A 1 to 5 player game, 1 hour per player, age 14 plus. That 5 player game is going to be tough. I do not want to be there for that. But Silver Coin Age of Monster Hunter, a very ambitious project with a lot of stuff going on. Giant board presence, a whole lot of things going on in the game. Highly recommend checking this one out when it launches July 19th. Then we have Nexus Arena Combat System from Diverging Publishing. 18 days to go until this one launches, so another July 19th launch over here. And Nexus Arena was actually on Kickstarter. They was on Kickstarter, they canceled, they relaunched, they're available on Kickstarter. You can check out all the stuff over there if you want to see that. Right now, this is a kind of a, hey, this is already coming, and if you want to jump in on the print run, you can do so. You're not waiting a year for this one. You're basically, like, to put a TV context here, like the way they phrase it is, hey, 2 people can back this campaign and they'll get the game because we're just tacking you onto the print run of the Kickstarter that's about to come. So if you want a Kickstarter that's going to arrive shortly, you don't want to wait for it, and retail's not your thing, well, there we have Nexus Arena Combat System. Do I know how it plays? Not in the slightest. I don't remember how it plays. It's been a long time since I looked into the game. $120 for Nexus. I don't know why I'm doing a full deep dive. This is upcoming Kickstarters and Gamefound. I don't do the full deep dives. Let's move on to the next thing, which is Davy Jones' Locker, The Kraken Wakes. Davy Jones' Locker, The Kraken Wakes, a game played in 2 parts. The first part is you try to figure out what's going on and all the mysterious events around you, and then eventually you get to the second phase of the game where you figure out the Kraken awakened, and you have to go ahead and take it down. You have to figure out what you need to do to take down, work together to take down the Kraken in the second phase of the game, because the Kraken was responsible for all the bad stuff that's happened in the first phase of the game. That's basically what's going on here. Game from Zachary Jacob, 30 minutes per player, 1 to 4 players, ages 14 plus. Notify you on launch over on Kickstarter, coming July 26th. 7-day jump there. That's because the whole, jump and things and stuff. Anyways, from there, we have the next game that's going to be over on BackKit, the second of 2, and a small little thing I'll point out in a second. Either way, we'll do the Return to Dark Tower second edition, reprint or whatnot, and a new Covenant expansion. So if you missed out on Return for the Dark Tower, which is hard to get, well rated, I think it's like an 8.5 on Board Game Geek, you can join 6,000 other people, similar number to Moon, honestly, but you can join 6,000 other people who are signing up to find out more about Return to Dark Tower, so they can go ahead and get a copy of the game themselves without paying the aftermarket prices. Granted, you'll have to wait for it, but that is the nature of coming in the second time round after the reviews are all there and people are like, it's amazing. And then we have the Return to Dark Tower Covenant expansion with 4 more heroes, 4 new content, all these other things. That's basically what's going on back here. Now the fun small little tidbit here is we have launching in 25 days, and then over here we have T-, like a very space themed thing for that. Why is that a big deal? It's not a big deal, but it's one of those small things. When you code things, when you build stuff, there's all these things you could do and things you choose not to do. That kind of thing is just a small quality of life thing that you can adjust the text of the launch page, and they're just doing that flexibility. It's just a small quality of life thing. Does it make a big deal? No. Is it a big deal? No. Does it make a big difference? No. It's just small little details that make me think, oh, hey, they're not doing like the bare bones minimum here. They're building something. What are they building? We'll find out soon in 10 days from Moon. From there, we have Majesty of Dragons. Majesty of Dragons. This one does not have a lot of people following the campaign, but I have this one specifically picked up because I've played this and I really do enjoy this. I highly recommend following this one and seeing if it's a game for you. I'll have coverage on the game. Majesty of Dragons is a 2-player head-to-head game of building an army of 5 dragons and trying to win in a variety of different ways. I really like this game. It is a very solid, very enjoyable head-to-head tactical back kind of game. It is exactly the kind of thing that I would expect to be in the Cosmos 2-player line. Clever, elegant, rewarding, strategic. It's got a lot of things. We'll talk about it more when I actually have coverage on it, but it's If you like two-player head-to-head games, if you like Lost Cities, if you like any of the Cosmos two-player Tarji, if you like Jaipur, if you like, well, Jaipur's probably a little lighter than this one, but if you like a game like Tarji, if you like that style of gameplay, if you like, what's the dragon one? They actually have a dragon one. Dragon Heart, maybe? They have like a bunch of games in these two-player head-to-head games. Majesty of Dragons is very solid. I do recommend it. We'll talk about it more in the future. And then lastly, I don't have a date for this one. This is sometime in July in theory, although even that may not happen. We have Among Cultists, a social deduction game inspired by Among Us, which is, you know, intriguing. Social deduction, Among Us. We'll see how it plays out. 4 to 8 investigators try to prevent a secret ritual in Miskatonic University. Unfortunately, evil cultists are already among us. From Godot Games, who brought you, their last game was, I'm going to blank on this, I'm not going to remember what it was in the slightest. The last game was like the one that was compared to Battlestar Galactica, but I don't remember what it's called. I don't know. We can check. You know what? We can just click, because that's the thing we can do. Let's go ahead and find over here. I got to move my head and find where the 3 created over there. My camera is like directly in front of me, so I can't see it. Human Punishment, the beginning. That's what it was. They have a few games, different types of games, but Human Punishment, the beginning was that game, and that I'm referring to. And that is what's coming over there from Godot Games, sometime in July, maybe, or pushed off. And with that, that is everything we have for the month of July as of right now, roughly 20 campaigns or so. I'll have links to everything down below. As usual, reminder that you can check out Adam from Shelf Clutter if you want to see more information, more updated, more stuff, because there will be more updated and more stuff. That is regularly how it works. Campaigns will be pushed off, things will be added, things will be changed. There's going to be a lot more than 20 campaigns in July. We're starting to pick back up again, not fully en masse, but enough so that there's going to be stuff coming in July, and we'll see ultimately how that plays out. And with that, I am Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you found this video helpful and useful and stuff, because I need more sleep right now. And until next time, have a good one.